Hey guys, I have another build for you today. This one's a really interesting build. I had played around with Stroud Eklund parts before when designing the Normandy, but today I wanted to make a ship for the Freestar Ranger questline, like I did with the UC Mongoose. Similar to how Demos is synonymous with the UC, I wanted to use only Freestar associated parts for this build. I wasn't entirely sold on the build as it was a little too sleek and sci-fi when the Freestar's ships looked like they were put together with a box of scraps in a cave, and so ultimately I won't use the ship in my playthrough, but it is a ton of fun to fly. I've also heard that it is extremely similar to the Star Eagle, but I've yet to come across that in my playthrough, so I'm actually not too sure. I haven't done much of the main story yet, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can. But regardless, you may have seen this clip of it going up against a legendary battleship on TikTok. If not, I'll show a clip of that at the end of the video and go through it along with some of my thoughts and commentary. And without further ado, let's get into it. As I usually do, I'm going to start with the landing bay and then work my way out from there. Because the landing bay's entrance is from the side, it was one of the earlier problems I encountered in figuring out how to make it fit seamlessly with the ship without making it look out of place. Because the design is interchangeable with the mid-cowling and the landing gears, it made it pretty easy to fit it into the wing structure, which is common among Stroud Eklund parts as a lot of them just kind of fit together. My issue with Stroud Eklund is that a lot of their parts are very boxy and flat. As you can see, a lot of the pre-builds you can buy are really just flat and shaped like a pancake. They have some curves, but it's not really aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. That being said, I am glad that Sladen Aeronautic engines are the ones that fit seamlessly with Stroud Eklund, as they are my favorite engines. And then came the question of how to seamlessly connect the landing bay to the main body of the ship. Then I remembered that HopeTech had these hab hallways that are very subtle and can be used as wing structures. The hallway would lead into a companionway, which would act as the main entrance and exit of our ship. The companionway would have an all-in-one hab on top of it for crew and passengers to sleep. This would then be connected to the cockpit, which already had 4 crew stations, making it unnecessary to have a control room. I had never really used Stroud Eklund parts before, but I did have some experience with them when I used them in my Normandy's engine wings. I kind of ended up using the same idea with the front cowling attached to the mid cowling with the Class A Sladen Aeronautic engines at the end. It kind of pains me to reuse the same idea, but Stroud Eklund doesn't really have a lot of variation when it comes to a lot of its parts. Unlike Deimos and Nova Galactic, it almost seems impossible to create a nice looking ship using only a single manufacturer from the Freestar Collective. In my mind, they're best used in collaboration with each other, creating this kind of homunculus Frankenstein's monster with all these different manufacturers. But regardless, I tried it out anyway, and I'm somewhat happy with the results. The name of the ship, the Pteromyini, actually means flying squirrel in Latin. I got the name of the ship based on how it looked and how it functioned. The best way to use the ship is to use its speed and maneuverability to fly around, getting right up behind enemies and eliminating them. Functionally, it might be more prudent to use the White Dwarf 3015 engines as they have a top speed of 180, but the SA4110 engines just look so much better. Now for the fun stuff, the landing gears. 2 of these landing gears will give a total of 4 landing thrusts, which will allow up to 800 mass, way more than we'll actually need. Again, normally I like to put landing gears last because I can calculate exactly how many I need at the end of the build, but might actually have no idea how many I need during the build. Now to add some functional aesthetic that breaks up the boxy shape of the Stroud Eklund build, I'm going to use Tayo braking engines just to add a little curvature. So this here is a common theme for many of my builds. I like using the Deimos Wing E's flipped around as weapon mounts. They allow your weapons to mount on sideways without using the actual weapon mount struct that comes with 2 weapon slots because you might not need both. As for the reactor, I'm going to use a reactor with 28 power, but there is reactors that provide much more, like 33. However, I don't see the point in using them as I'll use every single point allocated of the 28 power provided. As for the grav drive, if you watched my last video, you'll know that less grav jump thrust actually means more fuel efficiency, so 27 should be fine. These shields provide 102 shields per power point allocated, making it one of the better shields in Class A. Something I didn't mention in my advanced build guide was that even though you equip shields that have a higher shield per power point, if they're not fully powered, their recharge rate will also decrease. That might seem obvious, but I thought I'd mention it. For our weapons, this kind of breaks immersion as they're Vanguard weapon systems, but I'll be using the Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors on this ship as they are very strong and only require 2 power per gun, allowing up to 6 on a ship. And with that, we're done. It was a pretty simple one, but stick around if you want to see my fight with the legendary battleship I just happened to come across. If not, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next Freestar ship build. To those of you who stayed to watch the fight, thank you for the support, and let's just get into it. I'll try to talk as little as possible, but there's a lot I want to say because this fight was just so cool. To start, this fight was a total accident. I was just jumping around systems, trying to look for enemies to test my systems, see what's lacking, see if I need more shields or if my weapons are strong enough. And I just happened to come across this battleship. Now, the first order of business in this fight, as I knew I was definitely outgunned, was to get rid of all the small fry, and so I can focus all my attention on the big guy all by myself. This fight just felt super cinematic and like I was straight out of Star Wars. I mean, these shots were grazing my backside, and I was full puckered. I mean, I had to keep full engine thrust, otherwise I would have been blasted and melted my shields like butter. A lot of people were saying like use your thrusters for these tight turns, but I can't. As soon as I cut my speed, I'm dead. So my goal, especially early and mid into the fight, was just to keep moving, max speed, and just to keep as much hull as I can throughout most of the fight. So right here, I mean, I didn't even realize till this point that, oh my gosh, my shields are recharging, I'm not getting hit. What? It's amazing. And one of the big things about this fight was to like hit and run tactics, right? I would shoot as much as I can until my charge ran out, and then booster away. And I also had to save my booster for when I am getting hit, so he can lose tracking on my ship. I had never fought one of these things before, but in my head I'm just thinking like the movies, right? Try to get behind it, try to find a blind spot where you're not getting hit, where you can just obliterate it without worry. So here I am trying to find this blind spot. I think I'm in it, so I cut my engines, and all of a sudden I lose my shields and half my hull is gone. So I booster away as fast as I can. I probably should have waited for my shields to recharge more before I came back in for seconds, but I'm alive, so there's that. Again, grazing my backside. I'm full puckered. And again, I try to go for the rear blind spot. I think I'm in it. The problem is that when I enter this this targeting mode, I can't really tell my positioning versus his ship. I do take out his PARs, I think, so he'll have a lot less effect on my shields and my hull.
Enemy shields are back up.
Their shields are gone. Gone.
Now this right here is probably not the best idea. I'm like charging in like a bomber on the Battle of Midway. Just flak. All I see is flak coming in. And that is when I was so close to dying. I had like a sliver of hull left. That was scary. In this moment, I was thinking if this were Star Wars, Vasco would be screaming at the back of my ship like R2-D2. So now that my shields are charging up just a little bit, I think it's wise for me to go in. I'm still charging a little bit. And then boom, no more shields. And I'm still charging. I'm full commit. Probably really dumb. And here I just try to get out of his firing range and then turn around. In the end, this was a really fun fight. I'm really glad I happened across this. I had no idea this was even a thing in the game. But anyway, thank you guys for staying. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the support. And I will see you guys in my next build, which should be another Freestar build because I haven't really gotten one I'm happy with yet. With that, thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.